It is 9:30 and we will call to order the Cumberland County Salary Board to be followed by the Board of Commissioners meeting. Could we begin with a roll call, please? Audrey.
Commissioner Nudura.
I am here.
Commissioner Fauci.
I'm here.
Commissioner Eichelberger.
Present.
And Controller Whitcomb.
Here.
All right. This is the time on the agenda where we open it up for public comment. If there's anyone online wishing to make public comment at this time, please use the raise your hand feature. Do we have anyone, Audrey? Not at this time. All right. We'll move on to the approval of the minutes of July 31.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of July 31st.
I'll second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next, the approval of the salary board actions.
I'll make a motion to approve all the salary board actions except the district attorneys.
I'll second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We have the district attorney with us. Sir, I think you'd like to make a motion?
I would like to make a motion for the approval of the district attorney's salary board action items.
I'll second that motion.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 I'm going to support the positions with the exception of the forensic scientists.
Okay. We've had a lot of discussion around the firearms lab. We have built a $1.5 million facility. I think it's completely appropriate that we now put it to use and make that higher. I've been strapped with a lot of bad decisions that I've walked into. I'm not saying this is one of them. But if I simply abstained or didn't support actions moving forward, it would be very hard to get business done. So, Sean, if I could ask a few questions, this really is disturbing to me. When we have built this firearms lab, not with money of ours, it's a grant. Happened on a prior board. We have it ready to go now. If we don't use this firearms lab, we send 2 of your employees to New Jersey to drop off guns, correct?
Yes.
They take guns down there, they come back. Every couple months, I understand. And I understand it can be anywhere from a dozen to maybe even 24 guns. I think our records were somewhere between that cost $7,000 to $2,000 per gun. Not to mention time, travel. They have to send them down, they have to pick them up too, correct? They take them down, drop them off, come back.
Come back.
They go back down, pick them up, come back.
And then if there's ever any testimony that's necessary in court, we're bringing in the experts from New Jersey, paying for their travel time, paying for their expert testimony.
Correct. So, and in addition to that, now this is something I really do not know. When you have this situation where you've arrested somebody and or you have a suspect, maybe they haven't been tried. Where are they staying? Are these folks hanging out in our prison for any amount of time while this trial?
It all depends on the case and the individual and the situation. Because most times when we're talking about handguns, we kind of wind up talking about homicides, but not every handgun crime is a homicide. Aggravated assaults, they come up in domestic violence cases. So there could be many different situations. I might say that, you know, the way I look at it is the grant, we were always, even with accepting the grant, going to have to hire a firearms expert to run the lab. The lab is now built. It is substantially equipped. And now this is the last step to get it open. That $1.5 million is money that the county did not spend on opening this lab. That was money that came from the state. I look at it that we have saved the county if we ever went down this road. And I don't know whether we would have gone down this road without this grant money.
Right.
We have saved the county $1.5 million worth of expenses that we would have made if we made this decision individually. But this final request to actually hire somebody is for us to actually now open up the lab and begin. I respect Commissioner Eichelberger. He has opposed this from the beginning and has expressed that. However, as I've stated before, we are in different positions. I'm in a position for advocating what I believe I need to prove the strongest case, put forth the strongest case. And as we've discussed before, the timely evaluation of evidence, whether it be any type of evidence at the lab, not only helps us to prove people guilty, but it also helps to exonerate people. And if we're able to do that in a timely fashion, I believe it's worth it. So
We're not housing people until throughout this process at a longer period of time. I understand as through our discussions that we held one very recently that Commissioner Eichelberger did not attend. We learned that the state lab is very much delayed in this process. This is needed. There is opportunity. I believe you're probably receiving phone calls now. When are you going to be open? When can you help us? Other parts of the state, which we will be charging appropriately for our costs. So I see no reason why we wouldn't, at this juncture, actually hire a person to do the work. So.
Well, the vote's already been taken, and as was said, I'm not sure that it's subject to debate again. I've made my position very clear. I think the only clarification that needs to be made is I've heard repeatedly here that this was a no-cost facility for the county. Yet a few weeks ago, the commissioners were forced to appropriate an unplanned $265,000 appropriation to get the building done. So that's an important factoid. So I just wanted that mentioned publicly. So.
And I could oppose the sale of the nursing home and anything that then results from that, but it's water under the bridge, and as
Actually,
well
it's not,
as
because the costs continue to accumulate of that issue and will for this issue as well. So.
But we can't remove a $1.5 million building. We can't, to think otherwise, that we wouldn't make this functional is, I mean, just stupidity. Like I can't even wrap my head around that. So I feel that we are in a position to move forward. We're dealing with a prison that was overbuilt. We have extra space there that, thank goodness the warden's making use of. People adapt to, prior decisions that have been made. And that's what we're going to have to continue to do as a board. And I appreciate your support on this, Commissioner, and I appreciate your support, Controller. So I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. We've done it. Actually, we've moved that motion. Thank you. I guess that's it, unless there's any other comment or any other business.
Well, I'm this member of the current board that voted in favor of the firearms lab, right? And District Attorney McCormack came and he had a compelling discussion with us about why having a firearms lab was important to this county. He talked about how long as you mentioned, he talked about how long it takes to have ballistics examination done elsewhere. He talked about how if he had ballistics examination in a timely manner, there may have been the prevention of a gun crime. Those things are important. Those things are important to me. Public health, safety, and welfare. I'm charged with it, just as we all are. It's very important to me. To get to the point where we have this lab and not put someone in there to work it it's then it's just an empty, right? It's just empty space. You can't do anything with it. It's silliness to me. But District Attorney McCormack, the thing that I appreciate very much that you said, and I have echoed your sentiments in many places. Not only is this good for timely prosecution, it's good for timely exoneration. That is very important to me. So thank you. I appreciate all the work you put into this. And this will, I believe, in the long run, because we have to think longer than right here, right in front of our nose. This saves the county money. We don't have two people driving elsewhere to deliver guns, picking them up, paying other experts. It's long-term, not right in front of your nose. And this county needs more long-term thought. So I appreciate your support also. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other comment at this time? Is there any other business to come before the board at this time? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment of the salary board.
I'll make a motion to adjourn salary board.
We are adjourned. We will go into the Board of Commissioners meeting and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we will call to order the Board of Commissioners meeting and begin with the roll call, please.
Commissioner Nieder,
I am here.
Commissioner Fauci,
I'm here.
Commissioner Eckberg.
This is the portion of the agenda where we open it up to public comment on non-agenda items. Is there anyone online wishing to make a comment? If you have one, please use your raise your hand feature. Anyone, Audrey?
Not this time.
Not at this time. Anyone in the room here for, we've got some great folks here in the room, but I think they're here for another purpose. As I always say, we are going into the best part of these meetings. And the first up, we have a Stork Award special recognition that we would like to make. And those are awards given out for our 911 responders at the public safety building that answer the phones and assist someone to deliver a baby. And in this case, I think since I've been here, it's been baby boys. So we have Bob Shively, if you guys would want to come up, and Zach Stramello, who is.
Sure. You gonna come up?
This is Zach Stramello, who took the call, and Bill Klusman, his supervisor from Midnight.
Congratulations, Zach. Thank you so much. Congratulations, thank you. So I officially have the pitch that you get with a little blue thing there. And we have an award acknowledging a recognition of that. But Bob, I would love for you to say a few words about this.
Sure.
Maybe give us the context.
Yeah, baby boy, born July 5th, so firecracker baby.
Wow.
Just after the 4th of July. We've been doing the protocols now for 33 years. Hard to believe. When I started, there were no protocols, so we tried to take the address and help the people. If we had medical training, we could ad lib some help if we helped with the fire company. We'll say Doug Glass is here today, which was deputy director at the time and instrumental in bringing the protocols to the region with the Health Federation. And it seems like yesterday almost, but time flies. And 33 years later, it's good to see the good calls. I mean, we take a lot of calls, but the cardiac arrest, the childbirths, the choking, it's really nice to have the script. It takes you through software, question to question, and for the telecommunicators, they can provide instructions to the callers and help until the ambulance gets there. So they become the first responder. With that, for Zach, it's our 21st baby boy, a total of 40 babies in 33 years, and he's our 34th member now of the Stork Club.
Awesome.
So congratulations, Zach.
Yeah, congratulations. Seems like they're happening more frequently, though. I don't know,
Yeah.
just in the last couple of years, but thank you so much. My instruction would have been boil water, like from TV, but I don't know that helps anything. So I'm glad that you knew exactly how to walk someone through that process. So should we get a few pictures
Sure.
then? Zach, did you want to say anything?
No.
So where's a little certificate?
I'll tighten up, please.
Sneak it in.
Sneak it in.
Gary, if you could talk, there we go.
You
Thank you.
good?
Yes. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Doug, did we want to get one with you in here? Yeah. Come on up. The guy that started it all.
Well, it was a team effort.
While you're in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Let me have you come in here. No, you stay front and center. Yeah.
You go in there.
Yeah, that's it.
Turn this way, just there we go. You tighten up, Jean. There we go. All right, everyone look at me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey.
Very good. Thank you.
So,
Yeah.
I'm actually here for two reasons. So,
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we're
Well, then wait in the wait.
this one I didn't know.
stuck yet.
All right. Yeah, and next up, well, Bob, don't go
I'm
too,
not
oh,
going
don't
too
go
far.
too far, don't go too far. We have the honor of recognizing Claudia Garner from the Department of Public Safety for 25 years with the county, and what an impact she has made. So I'm delighted that I'm here to be able to do this. Your timing worked out well for me. I'm glad you stayed for that period of time. Bob, would you like to say a few words about all that
Sure,
Claudia has done?
yeah.
Because I know I don't know them all.
Well, certainly started in the 911 center and was a telecommunicator for years, and then moved to the front office. Is our deputy director for finance and admin. So does the budget, which is the day-to-day effort. So 11 cost centers, keeps us straight, certainly with the checkbook, and but so much more with the 911 plan, grants. I mean, like every year, whenever we do the 911 funding audit, that's uploading hundreds and hundreds of pages of invoices. So thank you for all that. But beyond that, work with the Honor Guard, work with the mental health and wellness. I should say, has kept me straight with my color palette. They let me pick the color one time in the basement of the prison, and I haven't been allowed to pick color since. So she helped serve with Doug and I on the team for the new building, the public safety building, when we had the design team for that, and really kept us straight with colors and design, and has put her touches on so much over the years. Outside of work, the American Legion Auxiliary, Reese Across America, the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation, and Boy Scouts, and probably most importantly, Mom. So,
Yeah. Oh, wonderful.
but thank you for everything, and you at least need to stay maybe 5 more.
5 more. She's
10
young.
more.
She started young. She's had. So you had me at numbers, girl, but you do so much more for us out there, Claudia. Thank you. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. We have a little bit here, so we'll do a formal photo and then get your son up here and we'll do that. Come on in.
Sneak in.
One more? Thank you.
Come on. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I
No, that's
apologize.
okay. Doug, if you don't mind coming up too.
No.
I asked Doug to be here. Doug was the person who took a chance on me 25 years ago. So he called me on a Friday afternoon and asked if I would be interested in taking the position. And I said, can I have the weekend to think about it? And it was the best decision I ever made, but Doug took a chance on me and I'm thankful for that. So I just wanted him to be here too. He came out of retirement for what, 10 years you've been retired, right?
Yeah. 10
Yeah.
years.
So we said goodbye to him 10 years ago, but he's still around. I'm so thankful that you take the time to
Oh, that's
come.
wonderful. Thank
It's
you.
exactly
Doug.
the same.
Well, thanks. But no, it was an honor to be here. Obviously I heard you as a telecommunicator, and you far outdid everything there. And it's nice to hear some of the other stuff too that you've been involved in since I left. So a real honor. And I took a chance on Bob Shively too.
Well, you made some really good hiring decisions, let me tell you. So maybe we could get you back on a panel or something.
Even let me stay after I went set the fire alarm.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how much that hay long would have cost.
Honey, I apologize. Did you
No,
want
no,
to
no,
say anything
yeah,
else?
that's okay. So I
Thank you.
have a thank you for Doug.
Oh,
So
well,
much.
thank you.
And my first supervisor, Kurt Hall, he's still on the floor. He just got off this morning, so he's probably sound asleep by now, but I have one for him too. He mentored me throughout the process and learning. Back then, we had green screens and dot matrix printers and all that. I started when I was 10, just to clarify. So, but I have a thank you for Kurt as well. One of my other mentors couldn't be here. He passed away 6 years ago, and that was Todd Wheeler from the Carlisle Barracks. And Todd was amazing. He taught me the 9 principles of Wheeler's enduring operational challenges. And they're very interesting. They're still on my board if you ever want to see them. But the number one thing that he taught me was don't be afraid to pivot and go. Pivot when you need to, even though you have a path laid out, pivot, embrace the change, and just move forward. And I will forever rely on that knowledge. And then there's Bob. Bob has been the most amazing boss for all of us. He's not afraid to tell us when we're wrong. He is not afraid to support us whenever we are right, which is more than when we're wrong. But no, he may not always agree with us, but he will always listen to what we have to say and understand our perspective. And then we come to an agreement somehow. But he's always encouraging us and enabling us. So this one's for you, and I thank you for that. And my kiddo, who's going off to college in a week and a half. And to all of our staff at the 911 Center, whether you're in the EMA side or the 911 side, it's an amazing field to be in. I tell everybody, dispatching was the most favorite job I ever had in my entire life. Family, of course, came first, and shift work was not going to work with that. And then the opportunity to move to the outer office came 20 years ago, and here I am still. But I always do what I can to support the 911 staff. I may not make the favorable decision always, but I do always have them in mind. I thank you, the commissioners, and for everyone's support in our department.
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
Yeah.
That was lovely. Okay,
Doug,
we'll-
scoot on in here.
Yeah, come on in. We'll get another, on the other side of Claudia there, and we'll.
That way?
Yeah.
There, please.
Down.
Whatever it is, the shovel. I always think it shovels.
Thanks.
You're right. Yeah, I got a flag in my arm.
Everybody look at me. Perfect, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations, Claudia. Thank you.
I still.
We're good.
Bob, you got any more here?
No, I'm good.
Not today.
Not today. 5 years, hold on. Next week.
Next.
That'll be it.
Well, that's always something to look forward to. All right. You all are welcome to stick around, or you are welcome to depart. It's entirely up to you. I understand that you've got phones to answer, things to do. That will take us to the consent agenda of our portion. Stacy, if you want to take it away.
Yeah, I don't think anything else on this meeting comes close to the
No.
first part of the meeting. We'll try. So the consent agenda is a list of routine items that do not appear to be controversial in nature, nor do they seem to require any additional discussion. If discussion is desired on any of the items, that would be agenda items number 6 through number 13. Now would be the time to make that request. Hearing none and seeing none, commissioners, I would ask for approval of the consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner. That takes us then to the regular agenda. The regular agenda is a list of non-routine items that will be discussed and may be acted upon individually. And we'll get started with agenda item 14, which is discussion and approval for the Department of Public Safety to accept donations for the LAPC Summit. And we have James Brandt joining us online to discuss. Good morning, James.
Good morning, everybody. The Department of Public- Am I coming through?
Now you are, yes.
Thank you. Department of Public Safety is asking for the Board of Commissioners approval to receive sponsorship money to be used in offsetting the expenses to host the 8th annual LEPC Summit coming up in October. I'm sure most of you are aware, but for those that don't know, the summit's a one-day conference that brings together county businesses and facilities, safety personnel, emergency management, first responders, local state government, and others for educational presentations on emergency preparedness and safety. The Planning Committee received a payment from Capital Blue Cross in the amount of $1,000 for a gold sponsorship. Payments from Hilton's Electronic Security, Lewis Environmental, Vitro Architectural Glass, Tucky Restoration, and Kent Fire Protection in the amount of $500 each for silver sponsorships, and payments from Journeys Travel Specialists, All American Fire Equipment, and State Farm John Fetterman Agent in the amount of $250 each for bronze sponsorships. The approval of these 9 sponsors brings our current number to 15, with total sponsorship funds of $8,250. We are very grateful for the support that these agencies have given to the LEPC mission. And again, we ask for your approval to accept the sponsorship money to be applied towards the summit. Thank you.
Any questions for James?
No questions. No. Move to approve.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you, James. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
That
Thank
takes us then to agenda item 15, which is the start of our contracts and grants. And I'll ask Angela Smyser to cover those.
Thank you,
Thank
Stacy. Good morning, everybody. Agenda item 15, I will call on Kim Linton to discuss the contracts and grant for the Department of Aging. Good morning, Kim.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, Commissioners. The addendum for Maranantha is to provide additional funding for financial stability services to at-risk individuals and families by providing financial guidance, financial education, and bill payment services to those in need through the case management component of the Homeless Assistance Program. The State Food Purchase Program. This is a state-funded grant that allocates funds to Cumberland County, and then we allocate those funds to the state food or to the food pantries for the purchase and distribution of the food to low-income individuals and families. So this is a little different this year. We need to apply for the grant through the e-grant system by August 22nd. Once the Department of Agriculture receives our application, they will begin processing the contracts. However, they cannot finalize the contract until the budget is passed. If we miss the deadline, we will not be able to receive State Food Purchase Program funds for the 25-26 fiscal year. So I'm asking for approval to apply for this grant through the Enterprise e-grant system. And then the Salvation Army addendum is to provide the Senior Center additional funding, which can be used for capital improvements and renovations, programs and services, technology, nutrition services, or marketing.
Any questions for Kim?
I do not. Thank you, Kim, for planning ahead so we don't miss getting money that we need. And I will move to approve.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
That takes us to agenda item 16, and I will call on Jamie Ryber to discuss the contracts for children and youth. Good morning, Jamie.
Good morning. The first contract I have is for Children's Aid Society of Franklin County. Excuse me. Sorry. They provide shelter, residential, and foster care services. They are requesting increases from 12.16% to 18.08% for this year. They are also decreasing their diagnostic program 3.22%, and we have added 5 visitation levels of service to their contract for 25-26. The next one is Chore Youth and Family Services. They provide foster care, independent living, residential, and institutional placements for our children and youth. We are adding a new independent living level of care this fiscal year. They decreased their per diem in 4 of the levels of care they provide. They increased their foster care levels ranging from 2.74 to 17.10%. and increases to the residential and institution levels of service ranging from 1.22 to 15.27%.
Amy, I wanted to ask a question about this one, because there is that tier F supported independent living. That's a 20.07% decrease, and I wondered why.
Honestly, I'm not sure why. They increased what they're paying directly to the foster parents for that program, but they were able to decrease their administrative costs in that level for some reason.
Okay,
I don't have an exact amount though.
thank you.
The next one is Common Sense Adoption Services Incorporated. They are foster care services for our youth. They have 3 different levels. They are increasing their levels much higher than typically, 27.17%, 17.86%, and 11.36%. They were not originally planning to ask us for that much in their increases. However, they saw a 500% increase to their insurances for this year. They are actively searching for better cost options, but at this point they needed to reach out and ask for some assistance to sustain that for this year. The next one is for Diacon Child Family Community Services. They provide in-home services as well as foster care services. And they are requesting 4% increases across the board for their programs. The next one is Everstand. They are residential services, and they also are asking for 15% across the board for all of their programs, bringing them from from $540 per day to $621 per day. And I do just want to point out that the state max for this one is actually $1,250 a day, so they are operating at a much lower cost than what they could actually be doing. The next one is Genesis Home of New Beginnings. They provide residential services. They are asking for an increase of 2.97% to that level of care for this year. Next, we have Kids Peace National Centers Incorporated. They provide residential, diagnostic, shelter, and foster care services. They did decrease their aftercare services 21.74%. And then they increased their mileage reimbursement from 54 cents a mile to 70 cents a mile, which is a 29.63%. However, they maintained all of their other rates for this year with no increases. The next one is PA Counseling Services Incorporated. They provide a school attendance service for us, specifically in the Carlisle Area School District. They are increasing their rate 6.69% for 25-26. Next, we have Valley Youth House Committee Incorporated. They provide shelter, residential, independent living, and life skill programs for us. They did decrease the cost of their life skill program by 7.77% for this fiscal year, and their other programs are increasing between 0.08 and 16.77%. The program that we use heavily with them is their shelter program, and that is the one that increased 0.08%. So we weren't too concerned with that increase. The last one I have is White Deer Run LLC, doing business as Cove Prep. They provide diagnostic and institutional levels of care for sexual offenders, as well as a secure program for behavior concerns. The secure program for behaviors is a new program that we're contracting with them for 25-26. And then the diagnostic program increased 50.88% from $400 to $603.50 per day, and the institution level for sexual offenders increased 41.65% from $390.76 a day to $553.50 a day. This is not a program that we typically are using too often, but juvenile probation does sometimes have youth that qualify and need these services, so we do maintain a contract with them. Any questions?
I do not have any. Jamie, anyone on the board?
No, and I move to approve.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. All right, that takes us to agenda item 17, and I will call on Jonathan Mays to discuss a grant acceptance for the District Attorney's Office CID, or is Sean?
Actually, I'm going to handle this one. The District Attorney's Office is requesting approval of the PA Gaming Control Board local law enforcement grant acceptance for $149,569 for the district attorney's criminal investigation division. This money is to fund a detective who we currently have, who is handles gambling investigations.
Any questions?
I do have a question or two, Sean. So to refresh my memory, so when you spoke to us recently and you mentioned a grant that was going away from one of your investigative positions, what was that, the focus of that grant? Was it human trafficking or child abuse or something?
Oh, that was the other position that we approved earlier.
You're
which
not
is-
tying it to a position, I'm just talking about the grants.
So
that grant went away.
was not for my detectives. That was for a child abuse coordinator who, and that was a 3-year grant that passed through UPMC to create that position.
Okay, I recall.
This is an unrelated position.
Yeah, I understand it, but my point is, so the state no longer saw fit to support that grant.
That's correct.
Okay, and
Well, and to be correct, really, that grant, we knew when we were part of that application process that it was a 3-year grant. And as I indicated at the time, when I sought that, it was seed money. When I sought that position, that this was one I was going to come back and request to make permanent.
But so were we assured at that time that there would not be a renewal of that grant?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So
This one is a continuation of a grant that we've had for a number of years.
Right.
Which each time it comes up, we're going to continue to seek this money as it's able to fund it.
So the original grant I was referring to was partially a driver of the hiring of an additional investigator.
No, it had nothing to do with an investigator.
Okay. All right. But nonetheless, the grant went away from the state, but the state is prioritizing the grant, the gaming.
The gaming one, yes.
So, okay. So I got money for one, but not money for the other. Okay. All right. I think that just speaks to the priorities that we're getting from the Commonwealth in a pretty revealing way.
At the same time, I'm going to seek whatever money I can try to find.
Please, seek away. Yes.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna move to approve.
I'll second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that takes us to agenda item 18, and I will call on Bethany Salzarullo to discuss a grant application and acceptance for elections. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, commissioners. So as you know from your work on the Board of Elections, our provisional ballot envelopes that the state's provided have been a little confusing to voters, our poll workers, that sort of thing. So the state has redone them. I'll hopefully have a proof for you at our first Board of Elections meeting in September. I don't have one yet, but I have seen the wording and the structure, and it looks like it will be much more clear as to who signs where and what you fill out and all of those things. So the state is giving us a grant for $800 to purchase those new envelopes. So to give us some help on that. So everyone's using the new envelopes beginning fall 2025.
$800.
$800.
Do you know what the cost is, Bethany, that we anticipate spending to do these envelopes?
It's, we just purchased for this election and the primary of 2026, and we're $2,500. It helps, but you know, better than nothing.
Better
Just
than
like-
nothing.
Just like processing a check, there's unseen costs. So,
Yeah.
so we're getting $800 to its cost. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, I'll move to approve.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you, Becca. Great, that takes us to agenda item 19, and I will call on Brent Durham to discuss a contract for facilities management. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. It seems a little odd to me. I'm usually here asking for money, and this is not a money question this time. So this is an agreement with Susquehanna Regional Transportation Authority. They're seeking a location, looking for a location to put a ticketing kiosk in. They want to take a look at here at the courthouse. This agreement is simply giving them authorization to bring an engineer on site to look at location, look at how it would be mounted and how electric connections would be made. If they deem this location, if we can come to a mutual agreement, I'll be circling back around with the contract for the placement of the machine.
So then you'll be asking for money.
Well,
It's expensive.
No,
Now that actually should be borne from the person requesting the location, I would think. And but we will not in any way be responsible for care and maintenance of this on our facility. They will have staff that does that. I'm not sure how they work their ticketing.
That is my understanding. The only thing in the contract that I saw is that initially they're gonna be requesting that we provide the electricity for the machine. But that's in the contract down the road, so I don't.
Okay.
Well, I'll talk with them and we'll sort of negotiate that a little bit.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you, Brett. Any other questions of the board?
No, but I think it would be a very nice service for people. Very nice service.
Years ago, there was a ticketing kiosk out here that was removed. It's probably 20 years ago, but
I'm gonna move to approve.
Well, second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you, Brian. Right, that takes us to agenda item 20, and I will call on Darren Bates to discuss a contract for IMTO. Good morning, Darren.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. I'm here to ask for the approval of a cybersecurity penetration test provided by HEAD. As a refresher, the penetration test is a real-world simulation attack on our systems and security controls that we have in place. So this contract will provide an external penetration test, which looks at all of our systems from the outside coming into our network. It also provides an internal penetration test, which looks at everything once you're inside the network, as well as a wireless penetration test. And then in the end, they'll provide a presentation and provide a report to us that we can then use to shore up our systems and look at anything that they found. As another note, this is an annual thing that we like to do, and we switch vendors every year so that we have a different set of eyes on it. That's just best practice in the industry. The contract is $44,470. Any questions?
Yeah, real quick. And their effort is supplemented by what you folks can do in-house as well. So this is not like a once and done thing.
No, it's an ongoing thing. Yes.
So is that sufficient, given the rising cyber threats? Or is once a year sufficient?
Once a year is best practice. Yeah, at least once a year. But it's an ongoing effort. What they do is a snapshot in time, though. What's vulnerable today or tomorrow may not be vulnerable today, or vice versa. So it's a snapshot in time. That's why we like to do it annually. But throughout the year, we're constantly doing our own evaluations, our own scans, our own tests. So it's an ongoing effort.
Your folks are upgrading skills and knowledge on that.
Absolutely. We have ongoing trainings that we're constantly sending our people to. It's an ongoing effort, as you have to be in today's cybersecurity world. Yeah.
Thanks.
Darren, just one question. The funding type on here is listed in account number. I believe it's a general fund expense that's paying for
Yes,
this.
I believe so.
I don't know all of the various account numbers, but I just wanted to confirm. I received some information on some grants that were coming in as well that needed approved. Wanted to make sure it wasn't grant funded at this juncture.
No, not at this point.
Understood it's necessary, and I know you guys do a lot of internal fishing as well to try and catch us, which is great. Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions of Darren? No, I will move to approve. Thank you. It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Darren.
Thank you.
Right, that takes us to agenda item 21, and I will call on Miranda Mountain to discuss the contracts for MHIDD. Good morning, Miranda.
Good morning. I have several contracts for you today. We will start with early intervention. This is a new contract for fiscal year 25-26 for Shannon Sweeney. She provides physical therapy services for us. This is a decrease from last year based on last year's billing. The next contract is for Keon Enterprises for our ID services. This, again, another new contract for 25-26. They provide transportation services. They have a decrease this year, and that is based on the services that have been authorized. Next, we have the ARC of Cumberland and Perry counties. They provide community participation supports, family supports, in-home and community supports, residential services, and supported employment services. This is a decrease from last year based on services that have been authorized thus far. Next, we have the Devereaux Foundation doing business as Devereaux Advanced Behavioral Health. They provide residential services for us. This is an increase from last year's contract, again, based on services that have been authorized. Next, we have Work Opportunities Unlimited Contracts, Inc. They have supported employment services. We base this year's contract on authorized services, and it is a decrease of from last year. Then we have York County Transportation Authority doing business as Rabbit Transit. This, they obviously provide transportation services for us. This is an increase from last year's contract, and again, based on services that have been authorized. Finally, we have a mental health contract for Geneva Worldwide. They do provide language interpretation services for us. We have a decrease from our contract in last year, and we base that on the billing that we had done for last fiscal year. Are there any questions?
I move to approve.
Oh, second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
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 Thank you, Miranda.
Thank you.
That takes us to agenda item 22, and I will call on Kirk Stunner to discuss the contract for liquid fuels finance. Good morning, Kirk.
Sure. Commissioners, this is a small bridge grant program project. So this is a maintenance project. It's bundled, county led with projects in Southampton Township and Monroe Township. Be a contract with HRG to provide engineering for both of those projects, and also construction engineering that includes construction administration, construction inspection. Total cost $107,165. We've shared this with our municipal participants. As you're aware, we're leading this on behalf of the municipalities.
Yes.
They've reviewed this, are supportive of it, providing it here for your approval. We'll move forward with engineering, move to construction next year.
One of the many services you provide for our municipalities to
Yes.
help them. Thank you, Kurt. Any other questions?
No, I move to approve.
Second.
It's moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
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 All right, thank you, Kirk. That takes us to agenda item 23, and I will call on Michael Halkias to discuss a contract for the public defender. Good morning.
Morning, everyone. I'm requesting approval of our contract with Justice Texas's for an AI solution for discovery review. Hopefully, this will reduce the amount of time attorneys need to take to review videos and things. And make us a little bit more efficient. This is being funded through the Indigent Defense Grant, so there's no cost from the general fund.
Thank you.
Any questions for Michael?
No, I move to approve. It's moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Great, that takes us to agenda item 24, and I will call on Bob Shockley to discuss the contracts and grants for public safety.
Thank you. Commissioners, I have three this morning. The first one is with Intergraph doing business as Hexagon. This is a not to exceed $10,002 for time and materials for computer-aided dispatch programming and implementation of our interface for the new paging with the radio project. The second one is for the HMEP, the Hazardous Materials Emergency Preparedness Grant application, request to apply for the grant. That is an amount to be determined. PEMA will, once they receive all the grant applications, put that into their formula. It is for equipment and training for the hazmat team. So that's about all the information I have on that one. And the third one is a regional effort. I would like to say thanks to Mike Snyder and Claudia Garner. They have spent a lot of time and phone calls and emails working with our vendor for all three protocols. As we mentioned earlier, with like the medical protocols for the childbirth, this would be for the renewal for the licensing and maintenance, which will cover all three, police, fire, and EMS, our protocol software training, new certification for new hires, as well as recertification, which is required every 2 years for all of our staff. They have been able to negotiate a 5-year contract. It's $81,175 a year, which is an annual savings of $15,725. So $77,875 in savings over the 5 years. So they got a locked contract for 5 years. So congratulations to them on that. And if you approve, we'll need signature on the contract and the conference.
Any questions for Bob?
No, I move to approve.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That concludes the contract and grant section. I'll turn it back over to Stacy.
Thanks, Angela. That takes us to agenda item 25, which is Commissioner's liaison reports and Commissioner.
Yes, okay. Over the last couple of weeks, Commissioner Fashi and I attended the Silver Spring Township 1,000 acre preservation celebration. That's a lot to say. It looked like it was going to storm, but they put on quite a nice event with some folks from DCNR as well, congratulating them on their achievement. And they had a number of the landholders that had participated in the program. And so it shows a lot of support in Silver Spring Township. And that, as I'll talk about in my ag update, that really helps our dollars go a lot, you know, they stretch a lot further in when the municipality provides that kind of level of funding. Additionally, I visited the John Graham Library and their 65th birthday. They had some great old newspaper clippings. It was quite the hub in Newville. One was when the stove went out, but the librarian stayed. And it was they were so funny. So I hope we get to share those across the county at some point. I attended the retirement ceremony for Major General Hill at the War College. Commissioner Fashi and I attended and judged an ice cream eating contest at the Penn Township Fire Company, and I was cooking hot dogs and sodas, and it was a throwback to my Silver Spring Speedway concession stand days.
None of my holds won.
None of your holds
No,
won?
my holds.
Ah, darn. I attended National Night Out at New Cumberland. Our sheriff's department always does an amazing job all across the county, and I was happy to see their crew there doing a great job with the folks in attendance. I had been interviewed and then participated in a session for the World Affairs Council of Harrisburg with a group of really engaged young interns, which was fascinating. They had a panel of a broad section of all political representation and got a lot of different perspectives for the students to ponder. I attended the CREDIC Policy Pulse Speaker Series with the Secretary of DEP. And I'll tell you, she was really very impressive. She's really been focusing on efficiencies in that office, bringing consistency across regional offices. And the thing that I was impressed with and shared with Vince McCullum in our conservation, they had 2,400 permits and a backlog that they have now worked down to 30. So she is really making a change at DEP, and I hope that works well for us throughout the county. Last but not least, Commissioner Fashi and I toured the Bethany House, which was a program for young women who are experiencing homelessness. I am going to do a brief update on the Ag Land Preservation Board meeting. They approved a request for the Rural Enterprise Operation for the Williams Grove Historical Steam Engine Association, which allows for hay rides and tractor parades around the perimeter of a farm, of a preserved farm. 9 farms were approved in the 2025 funding round to go into the program. Again, 1 farm is in Silver Spring and then in tandem with their program really becomes very reasonable for our dollars into the program. They approved a formal subdivision of a farm in West Pennsboro Township. They approved a budget recommendation. There was much discussion, and it will be brought to this board for their request as a board of this board to fund farmland preservation. And they continue to close on farms from prior funding rounds, and several have had title issues that have taken quite a bit of time to work through. Additionally, we were updated as a board, the Ag Board, on of the roughly 25,000 acres preserved, 17,000 acres are in critical recharge areas, which are very important for groundwater recharge. So it just adds another layer of importance to our farmland preservation program. So that was it for me over the last couple of weeks.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Commissioner Fashi.
Okay, so Commissioner Nieder mentioned the Penn Township Fireman's Fair. I attended National Night Out in Upper Allen Township and in Camp Hill. And in Camp Hill, District Attorney McCormack was there. Our SWAT team was there. And Tweed was there. So it was very fun.
You bring a dog to something and
It was great. It was great. I attended, the Capital Area Intermediate Unit had an adaptive bike presentation. And they presented adaptive bikes to 4 children, 2 from Dauphin County, 2 from Cumberland County. And that was probably the best thing I've done in months. These kids were so excited to get these bikes. This company that provides them spent all this time with them and their families about putting them together, taking them apart. How do you get them in your car? How do you take them, like, where does the pin go? How are you safe with it? How do you put it together? And then they had a parade with these kids riding these bikes that they videoed. It was just the best time in the world. And Commissioner Douglas from Dauphin County was also at that event.
I attended that last year and it is. They're just so
it was the
thrilled.
the best. The Cumberland Valley Visitors Bureau had hosted a group of travel writers and social media influencers last weekend. And so I went to the reception at the West Shore Theater Sunday evening, and that was really interesting. So many social media influencers there, travel influencers, talked with many of them. There were vendors there, our local vendors were there, but the questions they asked, they were so interested in, as a local, what do you do? Like, what do you do here? What do you enjoy? Where's a good place to go get a really nice photo? I was there for a good hour and had really great conversations. So I thought that was well worth it. And boy, you've got to use the library system. Like, it's great. That's it.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay, just a handful of items. I almost feel like we could use the broken record, if anybody remembers what records are, but most of the organizations are saying, hey, we're waiting to hear about state budget. Surprise, surprise. So that continues to be a recurring theme from a lot of the organizations. And that's had enormous impact. So that's not surprising. Doesn't mean they're not doing anything. Our folks are continuing to serve the needs of the public, doing the best they can with what they have, which they have been marvelous at over the years. So I did get more of an update from both Annie and Mark over at MHID. So I'll just go through a couple of real quick points on that. And kudos to both of them, or especially to Annie, who was away at an educational forum and still diligent on handling email requests. So she wanted us to know the Human Services Block Grant that we had the hearing on recently has now been submitted. It was submitted on Monday the 11th. And as she reminded us, that is a huge deal. It's a heavy lift and it operates on a very short turnaround. So kudos to our folks for making that happen once again. So also, she said they've recommended 6-month contracts for 3 providers in the effort that the MH office is undergoing to focus on how to manage within the allocation that we're struggling with. So they're monitoring the impact of the reductions that were made for fiscal year 24-25 as well. So we have a good handle on what those results are of the commissioner's actions. So she also reiterated they continue to monitor crisis data. Since the inception of the Connections Walk-In Center in Dauphin County, Cumberland and Perry have seen a 10% decrease in emergency involuntary petitions. That's the 302s. It's a commitment, involuntary commitment. That's so far this year. So they're seeing that as a very positive move and continue to meet weekly with the staff of the Walk-In Center, the Connections organization, as they refine procedures and get answers for new situations that they encounter on a regular basis, as is the nature of their work. So good things happening there. Let's see, Mark's update. Actually, it's first something from recycling as well. Oh, the MHID advisors meeting is next week. So I'll be attending that. We may have something additional. Mark Evans over at Intellectual Disability developmental disabilities and the early intervention. Heads up our operations, says there's a lot of behind the scenes work going on. They are preparing to enter the multi-year program growth strategy, and they're waiting to see what allocation is for waiver dollars before they go live with that process. Of course, we've enjoyed some success recently with increase in waivers, courtesy of some extra effort by one of our state representatives, which we appreciate. They expect to have their final information available next week, so that's not tied to the exact budget cycle, and that will help them leverage additional waiver capacity. So a reminder that their performance-based contracting requirement is going live January 1st. It's been delayed once. And so there's a big changes occurring with the state's plan, and there's going to be a single tier of providers now, and they need to meet the same set of performance standards, and they'll be switching to a monthly billing rate and receiving supports coordination effective July 1 of next year. So it's a pretty substantial change coming our way. They are preparing for it, so I'm very confident that that should go reasonably smoothly. For Recycling Authority, the new committee held its first meeting on Tuesday, August 5. They adopted the bylaws that we all saw. There were two subcommittees appointed. They are recycling grants and recycling programs. And Kirk, was there anything additional since you're here? I'll put you on the spot.
No, just a note that committee we've appointed is really good. We have some new folks who have come on there, a lot of longtime folks that had to step away, but really coming with new ideas for programs and services. So I expect a lot out of recycling in the coming years, new ideas that really we haven't thought of. So due to those new members. So
very engaged group and a lot of discussion. So wide-ranging discussion. So I agree with your assessment there. As a reminder, the third household hazardous waste event for this year is Saturday, the 16th. That is this Saturday. And the second and final tire recycling event will be Friday, September 19th. I think that still requires pre-registration time. Household hazardous waste, of course, does. All that is prominently featured on the county's website on the recycling page. So feel free to tune in there for any additional information. Only other item I have, which I'll just summarize quickly, is I did attend the meeting of South Central PA Works, which is our capacity there is the local elected officials board that serves for the Regional Workforce Investment Board. And of course, we received the end of the fiscal year, June 30, financial final statements for review and approval. And a lot of discussion around those, a lot of excellent questions from my fellow commissioners around the region. So they're like many other organizations, we're facing the prospect of significant change driven by federal funding changes and shifting federal priorities. So we don't know the future of the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, the WIOA, as they like to call it on the inside. So we discussed various options in regards to what might happen there, what potential responses are. And I have to give kudos to Jesse McCree, the CEO there. He's looking at it definitely as an opportunity building situation, and has some definite ideas on how that organization can pivot to meet workforce needs. He's also presented his written report and mentioned that, well, actually profiled the fact that there are new overall summaries for each of the counties in the WIP regarding emerging job needs in their county. I have a copy of ours. And I reminded him that we had expressed interest previously in having him come in and appear before this board for a more detailed session. He's very open to that. So I urge staff to go reach out as best available to extend that invitation, bring him in. I think that would be very important to the board. I'll leave it at that, and that concludes my report. Thank you.
As I attended the WIP, I just did want to point out something for Commissioner Fashi. I really synthesized that meeting down to where Jesse laid out 4 priorities that I thought might be important for us to maybe discuss. Their number 1 priority is economic mobility. Number 2 is integrated service delivery to include physical locations, virtual community. They're really looking at all of the physical places that they have for the career links, but maybe switching to library delivery or things, looking at other types of options for that. Number 3 was sector strategies, and then number 4 was short-term training and credentials. So I found his summary really, I think that would be a good substance for us. We don't know how it's getting funded, but that he is charting a path.
That is, so that interest in libraries or career services, you know, the libraries are set up with business centers where people can come in, they can use a computer, they can get help writing a resume, they can do everything they would need to do in terms of either looking for a job, applying for a job, working on skills that they need to get a new job. So that is intriguing. And maybe Jesse would and Carolyn could get together and have that conversation if he's interested.
I think he'd be great to present, and if I'll share the other his deck with you. It is very well done. He does a good job. You can present it to the board.
And just as a reminder that program of distributed delivery, and the libraries are at the top of the list, but they're not the only type of organization out in the community. That was envisioned as a pilot program, which we were going to do 2 years ago. It never materialized for a variety of reasons, but they've thought that through and made some initial contacts, and they're now going to do it, I believe, across the entire WIC territory. There are a number of things that they have piloted at Dauphin, including a reentry program. So their thought process on this is well developed and constantly refined. So I think the distributed delivery model, which is something Jesse has really adopted as a future pathway that could be very effective as opposed to a singular career link location, which is often in an inaccessible place. So he will be more than happy to speak to that model and what we can do. The sector strategy is essentially intact. It's the same sector strategy that's been in place there for several years, many years, but it would still be very interesting to hear his assessment on how that's evolving. So he's a brilliant guy, and I think we're very fortunate to have him. Really look forward to having him in to present and to answer our questions.
Thank you. Thank you.
That takes us to agenda item 26, which is report of executive sessions. And I would like to report that on August 7th, 2025 at 9:30 a.m., there was an executive session regarding personnel. And now I'll ask if there is any other business to come before the board today. Hearing none, seeing none, we are adjourned.
Thank you.